Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 24th of October. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director of Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is a weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week on the list we have South32, Wesfarmers, DRO, PET and Cooper Energy. So send us your request, make sure you've signed up to the free newsletter, make sure you are sharing this video on social media. If you do enjoy the videos, please leave us a review on Facebook or Google. And finally, just remember any advice here is general only. So South32, this is a daily chart. Obviously it's been trending down for the last year, but it is one that I've started buying in the last few days. For my clients, I quite like the chart. What we've got here is basically what looks like a double bottom, so a slightly higher low. It's lifted up, managed to hold on above that sort of key $2.40 mark, and then we could see a couple of days ago it launched higher on some pretty good volume. So early signs that we may well see a recovery in South32. Now if we have a look at the last major movement down and just sort of measure that with our Fibonacci tool, we could see that first port of call, which could be the 38.2% retracement, just happens to be right on that $3 level, which is obvious resistance anyway. So I think initially, as a resistance level, you'd be targeting $3. Wesfarmers, so pretty much it's been in an uptrend all year, and it does continue to trend higher. There have been episodes of, I guess, spikes in volatility. I mean, we've had this sort of big drop in February, again in June, early August, so not exactly plain sailing. So that does add an element of risk to Wesfarmers. I think it's a bit of a crowded trade, but look, at the moment it looks like it does want to head higher. It's trying to establish support at $40. So for the moment it still looks like a hold. I'd be getting out if it breached its previous low, which is this low here in October. Okay, DRO, which is DroneShield, trading really well since July. We can see impulsive moves up, corresponding with spikes in volume. Again here, big move up on volume. Any sort of pullbacks are fairly corrective. So in this case, after this sort of movement up here, it basically just consolidated sideways on decreasing volume. And again, this sort of pullback here, almost sitting on top of this high, sort of rounded out here, lower volume, and even when it sort of made that initial jump and then consolidated for a few days, we could see that the volume came out of it before volume came back in on the way back up. So look, it's doing all the right things, and I think at least for the short term we should see further upside here. PET, so we had this big movement down here in early August, which was I guess the first sign that it's probably going to consolidate. What's interesting is if we have a look at sort of the consolidation here, we can see that it broke down in early October, tried to rally but found resistance on the underneath of this line, and then it's fallen away on an increase in volume, which is a negative. What it's done since then is it's come back to this June gap and bounced off it, so an obvious support level. Yes, there seems to be good volume on the way back up these last couple of days, but I think it's still early days. I'd rather see further evidence of support. I'd like to see a higher low. And finally, Cooper Energy. So if we sort of zoom out here on the daily chart a bit, you can see it's been trending up for a while. So doing all the right things. The main thing I noticed was this movement up here in September. So on an announcement, it gapped up and tried to rally, but that was sold into, and then it's never really recovered. It's just fallen away. So that's a bit of a negative. We can see that several days ago it's tried to rally again, which is good. I just think that sort of sign here is a negative. It could just be a short-term negative. We might just see, maybe we just see Cooper Energy consolidate for a while, because clearly there's quite a bit of selling up at these levels. As long as it holds this August low, so we're making higher lows, which is a positive. If it cracks this low, that would be a negative. I'd want to be getting out, but I think for the moment we're just going to see a sideways consolidation. Okay, well that's it for this week. If you've got a request, send it through.